It is 10:07. Got to turn on the camera. There we go. It is 10:07 on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Welcome into today's community comment. I am your host, Kevin Haugen. It is my pleasure to welcome into the Daily Dodge TV studio this afternoon. Our guest on the program here is Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin. Chief, thank you so much for coming in today.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
Good to have you back in. It's been a couple months since we had you on the show, so can't wait to get caught up on all the exciting things happening with the Watertown Fire Department here, on Community Comment. Also want to make sure we note that today's program is brought to you by Professional Floor Covering and Abbey Design Center at 713 Park Avenue here in Beaver Dam. It's so much more than floors. They have a wide selection of kitchen and bathroom countertops. In your kitchen or bathroom, these countertops are a great item to be installed there. The material, the color, the pattern of a countertop all play a major role in how a kitchen or a bathroom remodel will turn out. They offer a large selection of quartz, granite, marble, and laminate countertops. They help you find the perfect countertop that fits with both your lifestyle and design. Again, at Professional Floor Covering, over 1,000 samples of carpets, LVP, hardwood, tile, area rugs, and window furnishings. Again, 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam. You can check them out at proflr.com. You're listening to Community Comment here on 95.3 WBEV. Our guest, Watertown Fire Department Chief Tanya Rainin. If you have a question for our guest here on Community Comment today, you can call in at 885-4446, or you can text 887-9595. Again, the phone number 885-4446. There's a lot of things I have to remember here that I got to get right. I'm still struggling to remember all those things here. But again, if you have a question, 885-4446. For our guest, Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin here on Community Comment today. And Chief, last time we had you on, we were discussing a lot of exciting things happening with a new fire station that was being built in the city of Watertown. And I think last time we had you on, it was really just kind of the start of that process. The ground was just being broken, and a lot of the initial work was getting underway for that project. As we sit here now in the first couple of days in April, what are the updates on that project?
So much has changed. The building is nearly complete. We are looking at getting occupancy in early May and moving the fire department throughout the month of May to take operations towards the end of, right before Labor Day is our hope, or Memorial Day, sorry.
Fantastic.
And so the carpet is in, the flooring is in. They are doing the backsplashes in the kitchen upstairs. The final lighting is going in, and so it's really been interesting watching it go from literally breaking ground to the final completion.
Yeah. So this is you. Now, obviously, you came onto the department here. Was it last
April?
Last April was so coming up here on a year that you've been chief of the fire department. So you've had a little bit of time here in the old station. I'm sure looking forward to getting into that new building. But if you could just highlight some of the really key upgrades that will be coming with this new fire station over the current one that you guys are in.
Well, everything's going to be an upgrade. Let's just start with that. Our current space, I don't know if I talked about it in the past, but our current space, we have one restroom on the main floor where we're all operating. So there's usually a line around 8 a.m. And then, so our new station is going to have multiple bathrooms on the main floor and the second floor for living quarters. Our dorm rooms currently is like more of a shared room with dividers, and there's not enough of them. And so one is in like a storage room. And so everybody will have an individual dorm room now for privacy and being able to have better sleep. And then the other big change is we now have an area to decon and get separated from the apparatus and the carcinogens from fighting the fires to our living and working space.
Yeah, and we've talked really a lot about, with fire chiefs here in the area, just how much has changed from even 5 or 10 years ago of how important it is to have a decontamination station that's up to code and that's going to serve the needs of the fire service industry. And a lot of people have shared this sentiment, Chief. I don't know if this is something that you agree with too, but it feels like the fire department has always been so proactive about protecting the community, keeping the residents safe in the area that they serve. But there always was not a huge effort to keep themselves protected and safe and make sure that their equipment is cleaned properly and stored properly. And it seems like really with a lot of these new fire stations, I know Beaver Dam is just starting the process of doing a study.
Yep.
So we're not sure where that will lead, but they're starting to look into that process currently. But just how important it is to have a facility that will keep everyone that you are in charge of protected and safe.
Right, and I can't express that gratefulness enough to the citizens of Watertown for giving us the ability to decon. There was just a documentary that I watched on Monday. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's from the Phoenix Fire, their union, put it out, and it's called Dying to Save. And it's about 3 of their members who had gotten cancer, and it talks about how prominent cancer is in all areas of our bodies compared to the general public, and that it takes them out of the job. And it's young guys getting it, and females obviously too. But the documentary focused on like 30-year-olds that were getting cancer, and it was career ending and that type of thing. And then they lose their identity and how they work through it. So having the ability to have decontamination areas is really going to be a huge benefit to our members.
And now, is that something that with this new fire department that you're most excited about, or is there something else that you're, obviously you mentioned everything is going to be new and upgraded from what you guys currently have, but what are some other things that stand out to you as like, oh my gosh, this will be such a nice feature to have that we could utilize that we weren't able to do before?
All of it, first of all. I can't get over how excited I am. The apparatus bay is large enough for us to work and be in that space. And then the training tower out back is selfishly what I'm most excited about. Just because of not only for our people to be able to train and do things right there rather than having to go a couple blocks down the road or up to another park, but to also bring the community in and have other opportunities to share the trainings and share what we do.
I know that was really, even here, I again bring up the Beaver Dam Fire Department when they installed that fire training tower here in the city not too long ago. I tell you, the chief has been nothing but positive praise about being able to have something in your own backyard that you're able to train on and have where you can just set up trainings and have your staff be able to not have to travel far, stay in the city, learn new techniques, important skills that are invaluable to the position that you guys are in. And it will be exciting to see that project here come to fruition. You mentioned in May is kind of when you guys hope to be in occupancy there.
May is the month of transition for us.
Okay, so that month you start to maybe we could talk more about what that'll look like, that transition process here in our next segment of Community Comment here with our guest here on Community Comment today, Waupun Fire Chief Tanya Rainin. Here's our guest on Community Comment today. We do have to take a short break. More Community Comment is coming up next. Fire Chief Tanya Rainin joins us here on the program this morning. If you have a question for our guest, again, that phone number, 885-4446. If you have a question for Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin here on Community Comment today. And again, our program brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings. You can check them out at McKinstry'sHomeFurnishings.com. They have an excellent picture framing services. McKinstry's Home Furnishings stocks a large selection of picture frame moldings and conservation battings and glass. This ensures prompt and proper professional framing of your needlework, family photos, wedding pictures, oil paintings, wildlife prints, and award certificates. They've also even framed a guitar. Best of all, you'll be amazed at the low everyday prices. Let McKinstry's sales designers help you select just the right frame and matting to enhance the beauty of your artwork as well as your home. Take your frameable pieces to McKinstry's Home Furnishings. You'll be very happy you did. You can check them out at downtown Beaver Dam on Front Street under the red awning. Again, you can also visit them at McKinstry'sHomeFurnishings.com. You're listening here to Community Comment 1019 on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Our guest, Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin. In our first segment today, we dived a little bit into the updates when it comes to the new fire station there in the city of Watertown, some of the exciting things that are happening with that new development there. And really just a couple of weeks away from the official transition from the current station you guys live in or operate in now to where you guys will be operating now for the foreseeable future. And first off, my question is how much space is it between, or the distance between where the current fire station is to where this new one is being built? How much space is there between it?
The distance between the two is about a mile. So
Okay.
it's not a far move. We're just shifting from just north of city center to just south of city center. So it's not a huge transition, but there's plenty to move.
There is plenty to move, and that's kind of what I want to focus on now is just what that transition looks like. Obviously, I sort of envision of like somebody, and this is something I can relate to right now because I'm in the process of moving myself. Is it just you're packing up boxes and you're shoveling, you're taking things from one place to the next? What's that process look like when you move from one fire department to another?
Well, if anybody's moved out of a home that they've been in for over 50 years, you know how much things accumulate over time.
Yes.
So the whole time that we've been building a new station, we've been focusing on cleaning out our old one as well, because if we don't have to move it, I don't want to take it. So that's what we're focusing on currently. We do have a contractor coming in to help with physically moving things from one station to the other. And so we have a week and a half planned where they're going to deliver the boxes beforehand. Everybody's being assigned certain areas of the station, so we're breaking it up by crew. And then, so they'll be packing everything up in the week beforehand, all the non-essential things, right? So everything that we can get over there before we change operations from Jones Street to Bernard Street. We're going to get that moved, and then we're going to take a couple days to make sure everything's going to work. And then we're going to have a transition day where we literally take the last minute things, our couple computers that we have to have during the day, and our apparatus, and move it over to the new station.
Yeah, obviously, during this whole process, you guys are still on call. If a call comes in, you can't be like, oh, we're busy moving, wait until tomorrow. You still have to respond to any sort of pages or calls that go out for your services. So that's still kind of a balance that's a lot to handle in a short amount of time.
Yeah, so luckily, most of the stuff that we need is already on the ambulance or the fire truck. It would just be like our turnout gear or restocking supplies and our computers. That is the stuff that we like to have. And then we have to still be on call at night, so our creature comforts of kitchen supplies and showering stuff. So some of that stuff is going to be the day of transition. But for the most part, we can get a lot of things over there, and it's just going to be uncomfortable for a month. Maybe we'll be on paper plates for a week, and then we do have great partnerships with our mutual aid for filling air tanks and stuff for when we have to move the air compressors and that type of stuff.
Great. During this whole process, obviously, the meat of this work will be done here in the next couple of weeks, next month here in May. But is there anything that stood out to you during, like, wow, this is a lot harder or a lot easier than I was expecting this to be, or one thing that you're dreading about having to tear down in the old building and set up and put together in the new one?
Just cleaning out the old stuff
Yeah.
has been the most thing I'm dreading. I don't recommend becoming a brand new fire chief and breaking ground the day after you start. However, everybody has been phenomenal, and obviously all the work was done before I started.
Yeah.
I kind of showed up and was like, oh, this is what we're doing today. Okay. So making those decisions, I had to learn everything prior, was fun. But I look forward to the partnerships that we've built, and everybody's been really great. We've had a lot of local businesses doing the work on the building.
Great, fantastic. Now, one other component that I would like to just highlight quickly about this new facility, you mentioned creature comforts earlier. Just that's the living aspect of staying in a fire station. Obviously, you have people, staff there who are overnight. They are there sleeping, eating, spending their time there. Is that a huge upgrade from what you guys currently have at your old fire station?
Yeah, so we have, we're working with the union and our partners to have a custom kitchen table made, and that's going to fit all of us. So currently we have a kitchen table that's too small for even just the on-duty crew, and so every time we have, a couple other people joining us for lunch, we have to set up a card table. And so that space is really crammed, and there's not enough seats for everybody to relax in the day room. And so we're finally going to have enough chairs for everybody and enough space. So we're really excited for them to have that downtime because, being able to relax after a call or stressful moments or get a good night's rest is really important for them.
Yeah, I agree. We're with Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin here on Community Comment today. We do have some breaking news that we want to be able to share when it comes to this new fire station. Chief, I'll let you share that announcement with our listeners.
All right. So I wasn't sure if I was going to say it today, but we do have an open house planned, and June 8th, it's a Sunday afternoon, is when we are going to be having our open house, and so we welcome the community to come. There will be a short presentation, and then we're going to have tours and guided tours and kind of some pictures of what we had at the old station compared to what we have now, and just kind of show off what we've been generously given.
Great, yeah. That's, again, June 8th, Sunday, to tour that new Watertown Fire Department. What's the address of this new fire department? I'm going to put you to the test here.
That's fine. 621 Bernard Street. And
Gotcha.
So we will be posting on social media once we're officially ready to put it out there for the information on our open house.
Great. Yeah, no, it's a great opportunity for the community to see kind of what all this hard work and what this was all for, and see the benefits and hear directly from you and your staff on how important it is to have this updated facility and just the benefits that will serve to not only what you guys are able to do, but just also serving the community and being
Absolutely.
able to respond to calls and calls for service. And so that's an exciting opportunity for the community to take part in. Again, June 8th for that open house, and I'm sure the department will be sharing more information as the weeks progress on the specifics of that event for touring the new fire station there in the city of Watertown. Also want to highlight here on Community Comment another exciting new development here that has, I believe you mentioned, has just
Yes.
sort of happened here not too long ago, but the department is getting some new apparatus that will really come in handy for
Yep.
the agency.
So our ladder truck is nearing its end of life, is according to the National Fire Protection Association and NFPA, sorry. And so we are going to be ordering our new ladder truck. We just ordered it a couple days ago, and we're doing the final design on it. And so we're hopeful that it should be here sometime in 2028.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to, obviously, when you hear the word ladder truck, you think it serves as a way for the department to utilize it as a ladder. What is that pretty much how you guys utilize this sort of vehicle? What benefits does having a ladder truck, especially a newer one now that you guys are going to be able to acquire one, will benefit the Watertown Fire
Right.
Department?
So our current ladder truck is coming up on 20 years old, and it's having multiple failures and other things that it's, the 5-year test is harder for it to pass and that type of thing. And so the benefit of it is it'll be on fire calls, and it's there for rescue mostly. So the design of it, the new technology, you can have a little bit better access. It has a little bit more mobility per se. And then it's really designed to last for us. So right now it's not staffed 24/7 with 3 or 4 people. It's staffed with one person that takes it to the scene, and then if we need it, we'll hop on it and use it. Or we have our on-duty, off-duty people coming in and bringing it to the scene for us.
Great.
We also use it for mutual aid. And so neighboring communities, some of them don't have ladder trucks anymore because theirs got too old and they couldn't afford to get a new one. So we are the primary ladder truck for those areas now too.
All right. So this will not only serve the citizens of Watertown, but the surrounding area when, they call it, I think, the MABUS, the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System, when you guys are paged out to assist neighboring fire departments. So this will get plenty of use there in the area to help when it's needed. So essentially, is it needed when you have to get to a place, obviously, that you can't
Right.
reach on your own, or you have to start battling a fire that's higher up? What is that kind of the case use for these types of equipment?
Yes. So think of like a ground ladder can only go up 20 feet or so. And so now we have a ladder that can reach up to 100 feet tall. And so we can do the apartment complexes and reach those windows and such if needed. Otherwise, we use it for defensive fires. So if there's a fire that we can't go in and attack interiorly, then they'll spray the water from the top of the ladder truck down onto the fire.
Great. And you obviously the timelines can change, but at least as we sit here in April, the hope is that by 2028, that a new ladder truck will be in the hands of the Watertown Fire Department to be used to help the citizens there in the surrounding areas when a fire is underway there. But our guest here today with us on Community Comment is Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin. We do have to take another short break. More Community Comment is coming up next. Three WBEV powered by Daily Dodge. Our guest here on Community Comment this morning is Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin. If you have a question for our guest here this morning on our program, you can call in at 885-4446, or you can text 887-9595. Again, and if you have a question, you can call in at 885-4446 to ask a question of our guest, Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin, here on Community Comment this morning. I've had to transition because Community Comment has been in the afternoon for so long, so I'm used to saying this afternoon, and I've slipped up saying that a couple times this week. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, I haven't done it yet with today, but I feel like I may have just jinxed myself and will eventually screw up here. I haven't done it yet. But again, want to thank our guest for joining us here on Community Comment today. I want to spend this next segment talking about an awareness week that is coming up next week. You're just a couple days away. April 7th through April 11th is Severe Weather Awareness Week. We just had some severe weather pass through our area last night. Saw some tornado warnings in Dane County, had a couple in Columbia County. Avoided our area here, but it's that time of year where the weather starts getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. So April, right when I started last year, we actually had one of our tornado sirens go down, so we had to do an emergency replacement on it. So everything should be up and running and safe for us as we enter in the season.
That's an important thing to make sure that those equipments are. That's why does the city of Watertown actually do tests throughout the week, throughout the month, to make sure that those things are operating at the.
Yep, we do them regularly, and we skipped it yesterday because of the weather, just because don't want to have a false alarm going on.
Right.
But we do test them regularly to make sure they're done. And then there's annual maintenance. That's a company comes in and makes sure that they're working, and that's how we found out that one was failing last year.
Interesting. So. Yeah, those are very important to alert the public of severe weather that's on the horizon. And we talked about alerts and tests. And next week is another opportunity. Next Thursday, April 10th, is the national statewide tornado siren tests. They are at 1:45 and 6:45 in the afternoon. Usually they do the 1:45 to help with kids at school to make sure that they practice their routes, to make sure that they know where to go in case of a tornado. And then the 6:45 one is what I've been told is for when they're at home. And that's a good opportunity for parents and families to run through what to do if a tornado was to hit in their area and safety practices there. But Chief, when it just comes to safety in general and best practices, if a tornado was to touch down near somebody's home, what are some of the things that you recommend that people do?
Right. So in the event of an actual emergency coming and hitting, then you would want to get into the lowest portion of your home. Thankfully, in Wisconsin, most homes have basements. So you can go into your basement and take protective measures there. Sometimes they say it would be recommended to have a helmet, like a bike helmet or anything to protect your head, unless you want to crouch down with your arms over your head to protect yourself. So that's an option. If you don't have a basement, go to the most interior portion of your home. Usually that's a bathroom or a hallway or a closet, and just kind of protect yourself that way. Anywhere away from open windows or somewhere glass could come shooting at you.
Yeah, and it's important to keep your most sensitive or vulnerable parts of your body protected, because things can fall and hit you and cause some major damage. Another really important piece of this, and having this prepared and ready to go, is also very important when severe weather strikes, and that is having an emergency kit ready to go.
Absolutely. So this is a really good time of year also. So we're doing the tornado drills to remind everybody, but take a look and see if you have everything gathered in a preparedness kit. So getting a bin of Tupperware and having spare chargers, an extra set of medication. If you have kids or babies that are on formula, having formula or your pet food in there for your cats and dogs. Any important family documents, have copies of those in there. And then, having water and like some food storage for up to 3 days is what's recommended.
Yeah, and they always recommend making sure to have a charger or some sort of device to make sure if your phone happens to be unfortunately low on battery, that you could find a way to charge that up. And another thing too that we've had officials with the fire department or police or even emergency management officials discuss is having a NOAA weather radio in your house and knowing what to listen for, because those are great ways to receive alerts really as soon as they come out, because those they broadcast those across their network there.
Yeah, absolutely. So having a weather radio is really nice for inside, because the tornado sirens are only designed to notify you if you're outside. They're not meant to penetrate into your home for you to hear them audibly. So having a weather radio is really important. Otherwise, having the notifications allowed on your phone is good, but sometimes there can be up to a 7-minute delay on those. And when we're talking about a tornado coming and touching down pretty quickly, sometimes just a minute or two can be enough to make it harder to save your life.
Yeah, I mentioned just a second ago that next Thursday is those tornado warnings. The 6:45 one, a great opportunity to run through tests at home with your family, to make sure everybody knows what to do in these situations. Obviously, I feel like it's a recommendation from anybody who serves in the fire department, again, emergency management offices, that they do recommend practicing those not just once a year, but maybe once or twice, a couple more times throughout the year, to make sure that these things are remembered and they're not forgotten. Is that something, Chief, that you recommend as well?
Absolutely. So at home, I go with my kids and I'm always quizzing them. I'm like, okay, if something happens in our home, where's your meeting place, and those types of things. And so taking the opportunity of making it kind of a game is fun, so we don't scare our little kids with those things. How can we get them to learn where to go in their home for a tornado, or what are we going to do, and have them be part of the progress of setting up your emergency kit. What would be important for them? Do they have a stuffy that they don't need every night that they could have in comfort if they need it?
Yeah, and another a great opportunity to just be more prepared. Obviously, this would take a little bit more of a time investment, and this is something that I've seen. Normally, it's done and hosted by emergency management offices in Dodge County, and maybe it's the same in Jefferson County too. But they hold national weather or severe weather awareness spotter classes.
They do.
And Chief, is that something that you would recommend somebody being a part of and taking?
I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't done it, but there's a few of our firefighters that have taken that class in the past, and they've said that they've gotten a lot of good information from it. And then it's always fun to be able to have that information. So there is something that was posted. I don't have the dates. I wasn't planning on this.
I don't either. I was not prepared. I just thought of it right now. So
yeah,
I
but they do.
apologize.
I just saw a couple of weeks ago before spring break, they talked about a severe weather training class that was coming up. So that would be fun to be a tornado spotter or a severe weather spotter.
And those, a lot of times, they also help the National Weather Service, because they rely a lot of times on spotters to report things on the ground and say, I see this particular cloud formation or this weather pattern forming here. And a lot of times they do rely on those people who have taken these classes, and they can report those things in and keep the National Weather Service updated, so they can broadcast those out to everyone who's tuning in. And maybe we can find some details about those classes if it's available online. I'll see if I can do some digging here during our next break on Community Comment here. Again, we are joined with Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin on Community Comment today. We do have to take one more break. More Community Comment is coming up next. Welcome back into today's community comment. I'm your host, Kevin Haugen. It is, again, our guest here on our program this morning is Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin, taking an hour of her busy schedule to come in and joining us and talking about all the exciting things happening at the Watertown Fire Department. So appreciate her time here this morning, joining us on Community Comment. If you have a question, it's your last opportunity to get it in here in our last segment of Community Comment today. If you don't want to call in, that number is 885-4446. If you have a question for Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin on Community Comment this morning. And Chief, we had mentioned right before we went to break, we talked a little bit about weather spotter training and opportunities there. And I mentioned that we're going to do our best during the break to get some more information about when those classes will be available. And Chief knocked it out of the park. She got all the information that we need. So I'll turn it over to Tanya Rainin. What is on the horizon here in the next couple of weeks for weather spotter training?
There is a ton of weather spotter training classes. So I just want to highlight on how to find it. You can just Google 2025 NWS Storm Spotter Training, and it'll pull you right up on the weather.gov website. And the directions for attending, April 21st is the Juneau in Dodge County training at 6:30 p.m., and that's on 127 East Oak Street in Juneau. Otherwise, for Jefferson County, there is a training on April 30th at 6 p.m., and that's at 503 North Jackson Avenue. If either of those dates don't work for you, there's multiple other ones to choose from in nearby communities. So there's one in Cedarburg and Waukesha County, etc. Directions for attending, if you go to the website, you can click on it and register, but pre-registration is not required. You just can show up, and they can send you more additional information after the class. It'll be about a 2-hour training in person, where they cover safety aspects for spotters and general public, along with the essentials of what you need to know to report severe weather.
Fantastic. So again, we have a lot of opportunities here on the not too distant future. They kick off the start of Severe Weather Awareness Week, April 7th. In Rock County is the first training there, and then as Chief Tanya Rainin mentioned, April 21st is our Dodge County training in Juneau at the Administration Building, 127 East Oak Street there, and then in the city of Jefferson, I believe that's where that address is there at the 503 North Jackson Avenue. That's a very tiny print. Hopefully I'm reading that correctly. Yes, I am.
You got it right.
It's perfect. So there are several opportunities, and Chief, you mentioned some members of your department took part of this, and it feels like this is a great opportunity for people to really know what this whole process is, what to do and how to spot and be better prepared for severe weather if that was to strike in their area.
Absolutely it is.
Great, fantastic. And again, we're with Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin here on Community Comment. Again, you could check out the weather spotter trainings on weather.gov. You can also search NWS Milwaukee Storm Spotter Training for the 2025 calendar year. Here, which is, again, over the next couple of weeks here in the month of April. We do have a couple of more minutes left here on our program this morning on Community Comment. Want to spend that time focusing on just some staffing updates within the Watertown Fire Department. I know I did a quick search on Facebook before you came in. A couple of weeks back, a few months ago, there were some postings for some job openings there in the department, but it sounds like there's been some positive progress made in that area here in the last couple of days. Chief, just where is the Watertown Fire Department currently at right now with staffing?
We're doing much better than we were when I started, when I was here last time. So we just recently had 2 new people start with us a couple weeks ago, Drew and Tyler, and they have gone through their 2-week academy and just started working shifts. And so for the first month, they do ride time or extra, they're staffed as an extra person on the ambulance just to kind of get accumulated and acclimated to how we run EMS calls, if there's a fire call, what it all looks like for them, rather than just throwing them to the wolves and being like, we really rely on you in this second.
Yeah.
So they go through about a month and a half of training before they're counted as staffing for us. And so they're in the middle of that process right now. We do still have one opening. We're working on that list. And I'll go to the Police and Fire Commission on Monday night with a couple people that we're hopeful that will make the last cut to fill that last spot we have open.
Was that when you joined the department there as fire chief? Was that one of the first primary objectives of your cap or chiefhood, if that's the right way of phrasing that, is to get your staff rounded out and fill those positions there?
Yeah, there was because when I started, I didn't even have a deputy chief. That person has also left. So, getting that position filled and then getting our staffing stabilized was really important for us, and working on investing in our people. So we have spent the entire year working on getting the right people, training them, making sure they're the right fit for our organization, and then taking a look internally at ourselves of who are we as an organization. So we've done, Gallup has the Clifton Strengths, and so we've been doing those assessments. Everybody has gone through them. They've had one-on-one coaching sessions to learn more about what that means, so it's not just these weird words. And so, they learn that, I have command, or, I'm a woo, which means I love to talk to people. And so we've been working through that, and then yesterday we actually had kind of a final draft for our mission, vision, and values,
Great.
Which we've never had a vision before.
Are we able to share kind of what the direction, or is that still under wraps?
Maybe next time I come.
Okay, fair enough.
I would love to.
We'll tease that for the next time the
Yep.
chief is on. We'll maybe dive more into that vision statement. And yeah, you really think that's sort of something that is overlooked a lot of times when it comes to not just businesses. I feel like a lot of times you see that in companies and in advertising agencies. They have a vision statement or mission statement there. But why is it important that a fire department have some sort of direction that they have outlined that they can follow and make sure that everybody's on the same page with?
Right. So we've had a mission statement. It was the same from when I started initially, and we've had a couple words, but none of them really meant anything to who we are now, because we're a really young department now compared to where we were 20 years ago. And so giving them ownership of this is who we are and this is what we're here to do and why is huge for them. And so in the process that we did, it wasn't just me saying, hey, here's our mission, vision, values, you will obey by it, right?
Right.
Everybody had the opportunity to anonymously put in their values or what they think the mission statement should say. And then the company we were working with took it all and meshed it together. And then we had a really great day yesterday with two people from each crew just kind of going through it and being like, okay, is this what we want it to say, and how can we wordsmith it? And I'm really excited to see our final draft, and we'll share it with you next time I come.
Yeah, we can't dive into it now, but
Nope.
The next time the chief is on, we'll hopefully she can bring in a copy of that. We can sort of dive into just that process of. Obviously, it's not a short process. It takes a lot of time to develop those and hammer that out to make sure it's something everybody agrees with and can get behind and support. So that's exciting to hear there. And just quickly back to just the staffing there at the Watertown Fire Department. You mentioned that you want to make sure everybody's prepared before they get on the job and they know what they're doing. Is this something where you look at some of the recent hires over the last couple of months here, over the last first year tenure there, were a lot of them just sort of green when it comes to the fire service industry? Did they come in with at least some experience? What was some of the you mentioned that it's a young department now, but just what's some of the experience of some of the new guys that came in or girls that came in over the last couple of years?
I guess it's a variety. So overall in the state of Wisconsin, there are less paramedic providers or licensed providers. And so when we're hiring them before they have their paramedic license. So yes, they are less experienced than when I got hired 18, 20 years ago, where I had to have, a paramedic and all of my certifications and years of experience before I got the full-time job. We're hiring them with firefighter EMT. And so they are younger. And so teaching them the life skills, teaching them, who they are as a person and what the fire service truly is really important. So there's a little bit more effort that goes into them, but the cool thing about it is if you're hiring the right person and getting them to understand who we are as an organization and making sure that the right fit, my goal is that the retention will increase.
Yeah, that's certainly a goal for every department. When they
Yes.
hire somebody, they want them to stay, want them to be part of that department for the foreseeable future. So, again, exciting to see that the Watertown Fire Department has filled a lot of those openings that were there last year and have this new mission statement, vision statement that we will hopefully, again, dive into when our guest joins us here again soon here on Community Comment. But we are out of time here on our program this morning. Want to thank our guest for joining us on Community Comment here this morning, Watertown Fire Chief Tanya Rainin. Chief, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And that will do it for today's Community Comment.